Yes, guys, welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is the latest Arsenal news and transfer news as well. Arsenal leading the rest to sign Osman Diomande from Sporting Lisbon. Mikel Arteta likes him and Edu as well appreciates the player. Mikel sees him as a potential fullback, just like Josko Gvardiol and Nathan Ake at Manchester City, but also someone who can double as a centre-back. So Arsenal, they're looking for another defender in this summer. We'll be talking about Joshua Zirkzee as well, one of the strikers that Arsenal are trying to follow, and also the situation in midfield. Thomas Partey is likely to leave Arsenal this summer, as David Ornstein says that Arsenal will look to sign a number 8 or number 6, depending on the departures and of course the future of Declan Rice. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Let me know in the comment box below, where do you see the future of Declan Rice? Is he has he convinced you as a number 6 at Arsenal? The time he's been there so far. Can he play at the best of that midfield alongside Kai Havertz and alongside Martin Odegaard? Is that the midfield you'd love to see going on in the future, or would you love to see a number 6 come in? Obviously, we are talking about the likes of Martin Zubimendi, we are talking about the likes of Joshua Kimmich and the likes of Bruno Guimaraes. So would you love to see one number 6 come in, and then Arsenal have Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard as the two attacking midfielders? I want your thoughts, I want your opinions right in the comment box below. So let's get into it. Yesterday, Manchester City took on Brighton in a game that really disappointed me, not only by the scoreline, but also by the level of officiation and the level of, for me, the referees were a shambles. I'm not even going to use a lot of good English because they don't deserve it. They were an absolute disgrace and an absolute shambles, and I don't like it when Manchester City get results that, I think they deserve to win against Brighton, and they would have beaten Brighton every single day. They will beat Brighton 10 times out of 10 when they go there. But you don't want to see VAR and referees giving silly decisions in favor of Man City. They never concede penalties. They never concede free kicks. And the free kicks they get, it's a shambles. I looked at that second goal that Phil Foden scores. I think it's a beautiful free kick, by the way, and it's deflected into the penalty area. There's no problem with that. The problem is the way the free kick is got, right? Teams are not getting a chance to respond to Manchester City. Teams are not getting a chance to, fight against Manchester City. It is not fair and square. It is still Manchester City all the way. So yesterday they won by 4-0. That means that Arsenal still need to win. We need to keep on winning until the end of the campaign, and then hope and pray that in the last 5 fixtures, Man City will drop some points. Now, at least one thing we know is that in the last 5 fixtures, Man City usually drop some points somewhere. We have seen them drop points to West Ham. That was in the season where they won it at the end at deadline day with Liverpool. We saw that they dropped points last season, although it was basically over. But they dropped points to Brentford. Brentford won that game. So basically, it means that they could drop points, right? They could drop some points, but Arsenal have got to do their job, and their job is to win each and every game left. That is not an easy task, but if we can do that, then definitely we can go on to claim a piece of the pie. Now, David Ornstein yesterday coming out and saying that the midfield area is going to be a key area of focus for Arsenal. If Declan Rice is going to play as a number 6, you assume they will recruit a number 8, and if Declan Rice is going to play as an 8, then you will assume they recruit a number 6 definitely. And he also says that departures in both positions will play a very big part in who comes in at Arsenal and where Declan Rice is going to play. Now, for me, Arsenal have one proper number 8. That is Declan Rice. We do not have another. We don't have I don't look. You look at Fabio Vieira, Emil Smith-Rowe, Martin Odegaard. These are more of attacking midfielders. They are more of number 10s. I think with Odegaard, you could give an exception because he's hardworking, he's he's intelligent, and he's got the work rate to play in that B2B role, right, box to box. But when you look at Fabio Vieira, when you look at Emil Smith-Rowe, you don't even want them in that position. You want them a little bit further forward. So for me, it's a no-brainer. Like David Ornstein says, if the future of Declan Rice is in the number 6, Arsenal will sign a number 8. I think that has already failed because we have tried it. We've tried Kai Havertz in the 8, and we've tried Declan Rice in the 6. I can't say that has worked according to our plan. I can't say that has gone so far so well. So I'm anticipating, and I think this is this would be me rightly doing so, that Arsenal will go in there in the market and look for a very, very good defensive midfielder, a good number 6. We've been listening to talks around Zubimendi, Guimaraes, and yesterday, of course, Fofana. And we'll talk about Fofana on this video. But for me, it's about where Declan Rice is most comfortable. He's most comfortable a little bit further forward, with someone helping with the defensive work. We've seen it when Partey is on the pitch, and we've seen it when Jorginho is on the pitch. He is a much better player with security in behind. He's a much better player going forward. He's a much better player. He's got the energy, he's got the zeal, the willingness, and the technical ability to drive the ball. He's got the ball carriage, the ball carriage skills of a vector, like a rat carries carries lice around. That guy can carry the ball undetected. He's press proof as well. I think for me his future should be in the number 8. And that's a little bit contradictory and controversial to the English fans, because for the English fans, they think he's their number 6, and therefore he shouldn't play in any other position. But for me, if for Arsenal to get the best out of him, the number 8 is the best position. Get a number 6 in there. Go for Kimmich. Go for Guimaraes. Go for anyone. Declan Rice in the number 6 is definitely the future, in my opinion. I don't think Mikel is going to get this wrong. I think they'll get it right. They'll get him in that number 8, right? So let's talk about Osman Diomande, because it looks like Arsenal are leading the race to sign Osman Diomande. He's a player that we have tracked for quite some time. Mikel Arteta likes him. Edu likes him as well. And I think the plan is to make Osman Diomande another centre-back addition to the squad who can play more like a Ben White. So you look at what Mikel is trying to do in recent years. Tomiyasu is a centre-back. Ben White is a centre-back. Timber is a centre-back. Diomande, who is our primary target, as a centre-back. But also not that alone. You look at the other targets Arsenal have been looking at. You look at João Hato at Ajax. He is a centre-back. You look at you look at the young centre-back at Eintracht Frankfurt right now, and then you look at the likes of Tapsoba and Tar at Bayer Leverkusen. All those are centre-backs, and yet our biggest problem is at left back. And that doesn't mean Mikel doesn't say it. It means that he's got a new strategy, and we are moving towards this world where you're playing with 5 centre-backs, or you're playing with 6 centre-backs actually, to make sure that you don't concede a lot of goals. It's why Man City don't concede a lot of goals. It's why Arsenal don't concede a lot of goals, because defensively, these players are born to defend. They are dogs. They are defensive dogs. So what you've got to do is to adapt their skill set into being comfortable on the ball, passing around, and much of that is done through the education systems in which these players come from. So Osman Diomande is going to cost in excess of 70 million euros, but I don't think they're going to come cheap. The players that we want, and the players that can play in such a system, very complicated system, they're not going to come cheap, honestly. So for me, Diomande, 70 million euros, I think Arsenal should pay up. He's a very good young centre-back, right? He's a very good young centre-back. Chelsea, Man United, all these clubs are interested in his services. And I don't think that's by a mistake. I don't think that's because Arsenal are interested in him. They've done it. They've looked at him, they've scouted, and they've looked at him as one of those young centre-backs that are actually going to take over world football in a very, very short period of time. Now, Ruben Amorim's next job might determine where Osman Diomande goes. I think if Ruben Amorim ends up at Liverpool, which is now very unlikely, Diomande ends up at Liverpool. If he ends up at Chelsea, if Amorim ends up at Chelsea, Diomande will end up with Chelsea. And I think it's going to be really, really, really expensive, and there's going to be a bidding war. You look at the teams that are looking for a centre-back: Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, Tottenham. Those are 6 top clubs looking for a top centre back, and those are all clubs that have got 70 million to spend. It's gonna be very interesting. But for me, I'm gonna say this. For me, this is a deal in Arsenal's hands. It's a deal that we can do. It's a deal that we can wake up in the morning and we get done. I don't think it's a deal that we should be worried about. We've done our background work. We've talked to the family. This is as good as done if Arsenal go out there and negotiate with Sporting Lisbon and get it out of the way. It is good as done. The player would love to play for Arsenal. At least that much we know. We've contacted the family. They're positive. It might go down now as a money issue. Yeah, it might go down as a money issue. Like, we lost Eden Hazard and lost Cristiano Ronaldo. If anyone comes in with more money to Sporting Lisbon and more money to the family, yeah, maybe Arsenal lose that. But at the moment, I think we have the power to attract any young player right now to our squad. I think we've got the power to attract young talent. This team under Mikel Arteta, many players would love to play under Mikel Arteta right now. I don't think there's a young player who wouldn't wish to be under Mikel Arteta unless you're going for Pep Guardiola, who is the best in the business. Now, Arsenal looking at Fofana as well. Youssouf Fofana, obviously, one of those players that really played a very huge part for Monaco when they came for the Emirates Cup. He was sensational, and the reports coming out are saying that Arsenal are monitoring the situation of Youssouf Fofana. The French international has 1 year left on his deal on Monaco. So, Fofana brings out what we've been talking about earlier on the video, that we are looking for either in number 8 or in number 6. Now, Youssouf Fofana and his work rate, I am not sure what to say. And look, is he in number 6? Definitely. Is he in number 8? Definitely. So I think it's more like a Declan Rice, in my opinion. But I think he's got the ball-winning ability of a Thomas Partey. And what I like about Fofana is energy. He's got the energy. He's a runner. He's a willing runner, and he wins the ball back quickly, cleanly. He's hungry. He's a guy that really loves to shoot on goal. You remember when he played against Arsenal in that Emirates Cup game? He was really a menace. So Youssouf Fofana, 1 year left on his deal. Could Arsenal get that deal done? It depends. It depends what Mikel sees. It depends on what Edu, sees as well. But I want us to talk about Joshua Zirkzee for a moment, because the striking situation is one that confuses me now. Yesterday, David Ornstein came out and said and confirmed the words of John Cross from the Mirror that Arsenal's situation with strikers is changing. They are considering keeping Kai Havertz as the number 9 and then just bringing in an understudy. And when you look at Joshua Zirkzee, that is the profile of Joshua Zirkzee. He is just an understudy. And I don't want to call him an understudy to, Kai Havertz, because for me, I don't think he's what we need. Zirkzee is 22. He's a Dutch international playing at Sassuolo, playing at Bologna, he scored 11 goals in 31 appearances. That is not a bad return. That's not a bad return for a player playing in the Italian Serie A at Bologna. But what do Arsenal need? I think that's that is something that we've got to ask ourselves. What do Arsenal really need? I don't want us to believe, and I don't want to believe, that Arsenal still have an identity crisis, because we don't have an identity problem, and therefore we don't have an identity crisis. We know who we are, we know where we've been, and we know where we want to be. Where we want to be is at the top, challenging Manchester City. Where we are is the second best team in the Premier League, challenging Man City. So if we want to be at the very top, they have Julian Alvarez. You don't bring in Joshua Zirkzee. He's not the guy. With all due honesty, he is not the guy. Joshua Zirkzee should be coming in circumstances where Arsenal sell Kai Havertz, Edin Ketia, and Gabriel Jesus. So you can bring in Zirkzee and Dusan Vlahovic. Yeah, I could hear that. But you say that with the current crop of finishers we have at this club, you just bring in Joshua Zirkzee. That is not enough. That is not convincing enough. That is not good enough. I'm not into that, honestly. So, obviously, I've seen something about Joshua Zirkzee and Milan. I hope Milan can get that deal done as quickly as possible. I don't want to be ranting on my videos in the summer saying, don't sign him, don't do it, don't do this. I think Arsenal's transfer strategy has been really good in recent years. We've done some amazing signings. We've done some good signings. Some have been horrendous, obviously, Lokonga, Nuno Tavares, and all that. But at least what we know is we want Arsenal to bring in players that are going to work and work right now. So Joshua Zirkzee, however much I love youngsters, I don't think he's exceptional. I don't really think he's exceptional. I think he's an average player at best. Average player. And Arsenal don't need average at the moment. We need top. Like, really top. See you in a bit.